The NFC South is labeled as the worst division in football. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers won the division last year with a 9-8 record, and coming into this season, all four teams have major question marks surrounding them. As in this video, we predict the NFC South for the upcoming NFL season.
I think it's pretty obvious, but the worst team in the NFC South is the Carolina Panthers.
I 100% agree with you. Bryce Young, terrible rookie season. I do expect Bryce Young to be better. So I think he will have a better sophomore year. But overall, the team-wise, you got rid of Brian Burns without getting a first in return.
So, okay, before we go to the defense side of things, going back to Bryce Young very quickly, question I have for literally just for the video, how much is he going to get better under Dave Canales? Because remember, Dave Canales had a good first year with the Bucs.
Yeah,
in the head coach.
Frank Reich was not good. Let's be honest. I don't think Frank Reich's going to be a head coach anytime soon. I don't think ever, probably. And Frank Reich was once good a head coach, so was once a good head coach in Indianapolis. Did not work with Carolina. And Bryce Young struggled for that. And it's not like Bryce Young, all of it's on Bryce Young. Some of it is not like all of it's on Frank Reich. Some of it was on roster construction. They went out and signed Robert Hunt, which will help the O-line. They're hoping for Ike Ekwonu to break out as well. And if that happens, their O-line's set. They added Deontay Johnson, another good weapon. Adam Thielen, for how old he is, produced a lot last year. And that's all going to help Bryce Young if everything falls in place. But I just don't think, even if everything does fall in place for Bryce Young and Bryce Young cooks, just don't think it's enough.
This division
definitely don't think it's enough.
Division is the weakest in football. Let's say that. It's still somewhat tough to predict, though, because of the uncertainty of the other three teams. This one, I had high hopes of Carolina last year. And obviously, I was put back into perspective. I just thought their coaching staff, they brought an experienced coaching staff for a young guy, would help them. Clearly, it didn't. So let's see, in this case, first-time head coach in Dave Canales, he'll help the offense out. I don't know what's going to happen with their defense. The thing with the Panthers is, again, you're going to always have their ownership somehow involved, like they always do. You know, the rumor of CJ Stroud was supposed to be picked by the GM / or Frank Reich in this case. He went out and went Bryce Young. He's still young. I'm not counting him as a bust or anything, but hopefully under Dave Canales he improves. And no one else was really added, right? So
no one else really added. They lost their best player, and they didn't get a first-round pick, which is still mind-boggling to me. They have G.C. Horn, really good corner when he's healthy. And that's the big question mark, when he's healthy. Other than that, they don't really have much.
Jadeveon Clowney's there now.
Jadeveon Clowney's there, but he's not going to really carry a freaking D-line.
Derek Brown
is the best guy, and overall, again, I think even if everything goes right for the Carolina Panthers, I just still think they're fourth place.
At least they don't have to worry about losing their first overall pick now.
Oh yeah, they have their picks again, but they could have had another one.
At least for the
they should have had another round pick as well. But those are my number 4 team. That's your number 4 team.
Yeah.
All right, the last video, all 4 of our teams match. Let's see if it happens again this video. For the number 3, who was on your third spot for the NFC South?
This was tough because, again, I don't trust all these teams to a certain extent, but I do trust one more than the other. However, this one team did not make this change that I was expecting them to make last offseason. So I'm going to say it here, even though it's weird to say it. It's the New Orleans Saints, purely because this is my question here, too. We're going to have it on the screen here. Is Dennis Allen the first coach to get fired this year? Because at the end of the day, they didn't improve much. There are rumors for Justin Simmons, but they already have an elite secondary with Marshawn Lattimore and Honey Badger over there and whatever. The defense has never been the question because Dennis Allen is a good defensive coach. It's just overall head coaching, he was horrible, right? They lost Michael Thomas. They didn't really replace him. They're going to have a lot on the shoulder of Chris Olave, in my opinion. Yes, and defensively, Willie Gay was a great add here. Cam Jordan is a stud there.
Chase Young.
Chase Young is added there. We'll see how he's going to bounce back, right? Because he got obviously question marks as a second overall pick. So for me, before you go, and it all comes down to, I think I'm going to pass it on to you from here, Derek Carr, because Alvin Kamara is still the best player on this team.
Oh, 100%. So here's the thing. Your defense was fine last year.
Yeah.
And you added more to the defense and potentially adding a Justin Simmons as well. Hopefully he goes to Indy, but that's a different story. Offensive is the issue. Offensive line was an issue. You addressed that through the draft by drafting Talis Fuaga, which is a good pick. But after that, not really great. And that falls down to Derek Carr and more specifically his leadership, right? Carr lost the locker room last year. Chris Olave is a top wide receiver in this league, and I think he will break out even more and to prove himself that he's a legitimate one in this league. He was incredible. Alvin Kamara, we already know what he can do. He could do everything. Catch the ball, run the ball. It just comes down to Derek Carr, and he is one of those type of quarterbacks where, he has a good year and a bad year and a good year and a bad year, so we don't know how Derek Carr is going to produce this year. And overall, like you said, Dennis Allen's still there, so the leadership is still the same, which was the locker room was last year. And for that reason, I do agree with you. I am putting him at number 3.
So the other question mark is they drafted Spencer Rattler late. And people are already describing, because all of the early quarterback flurry, he ended up falling even further. People don't remember, Rattler was a stud in Oklahoma before Caleb Williams took over that job, and then he ended up going to South Carolina. He's apparently winning. In some people's eyes, he's impressing in training camp, right? We have a relative who's a Saints fan. I saw some posts because of him. I see some Saints posts on my Twitter feed, my X feed. And is there a high chance that he comes in next year? Like, what's more likely, Dennis Allen getting fired in the middle of the year or Derek Carr getting benched? I'm assuming Derek Carr getting benched because it's going to be Dennis.
Yes, it is. Derek Carr getting benched probably first. That's what will happen first.
According to this, they have him third in the depth chart again on ESPN's website. I'm assuming he'll be second to have Jake Hayner second right now. But again, like to your point, it's going to be relying on, is this what they did last year? A lot of check down to Alvin Kamara.
That's all they have.
Whoever has him on fantasy will love it. I'm assuming.
I had him on fantasy last year.
So
I loved it.
You could tell it.
I loved it. I'll say that.
And then defensively, even like if they're struggling, there were rumors about Marshawn Lattimore trade rumors. Not saying how it got far or anywhere during the offseason, not like recently. So because he wants to get paid, and Lattimore is a top corner in this league.
A lot of the cap does go to the defensive side of the ball for the Saints.
Yeah.
Obviously with Jordan, Lattimore, Matthew.
Yeah.
Potentially a Simmons as well. Obviously Chase Young is on a 1-year deal. I just don't think they addressed much on their offense, which was a bigger need. A lot of pressure, like you said, does fall on Chris Olave because after that, the Chiefs is good, but he's just a deep threat, right? He's not like a all-around wide receiver, which is going to be good, honestly. Like you always need a deep threat. You need a guy who can get vertical quick, which is good. But like at the end of the day, if Derek Carr is cooking, and we've seen Derek Carr cook, right? The year when Gruden got fired, right? Everything was going against the Raiders. Derek Carr is the person that kept that Raiders locker room together and actually made the playoffs that year when they lost to the Bengals in the first round. That year, the Rams beat the Bengals in the Super Bowl. So Derek Carr has the ability, and the reason why I have him third is not because I project Derek Carr to be bad. It's just that I don't know which Derek Carr would get, because there are two sides to Derek Carr. The one we saw last year and the one we saw a couple times in the Raiders as well, where he was really good and actually led a team to a playoff spot.
With that being said, don't be surprised if this team ends up being first as well, because
that's the reason why.
It's a weird division to predict. Because there's, like, again, the Saints, the reason why we both have him third isn't just because of Derek Carr, it's mainly because Dennis Allen is still the coach.
That's the big question about Derek Carr is the second one. So we both have him at 3. Let's see. What I feel like might have the same.
We might have the same.
I think we might have. I promise you guys, we do not share our list.
No, we don't.
We do not share our list.
We genuinely don't.
But my number 2 team is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so the sole question is Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, that was literally my question.
It's just simple as that. Defense is fine, right? Very similar. Offensively, you're fine. You brought back Mike Evans as well.
And you extended Tristan Wirfs.
It all comes down to Baker Mayfield. And the biggest question for Baker Mayfield is not going to be solely about Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
It's solely about how missed will Dave Canales be.
That's the
big question. How much will Baker Mayfield miss Dave Canales?
So, like, for perspective, this division last year, Buccaneers 9-8, Saints 9-8, Falcons 7-10, and then the Panthers are 2-15.
Okay, let's be honest, right? If there's no division winners, this team did not deserve a playoff spot. Like, this division did not deserve a playoff spot at all.
Well, to be fair, the Packers made the playoffs last year 9-8.
Yeah, but
if you want to project it,
sure. The Lions.
Yeah, no.
Okay, that's the second team. That makes sense for a wildcard spot. Can't tell me your division winners are 9-8.
Didn't the Cowboys or Washington making a losing?
That's different. That's different, man.
But no,
COVID have happened.
Going back to this, the Buccaneers, it all comes down to Baker Mayfield. They have everything's the same. Like it should be. I think I really want to put them number one, but there's a reason why I went for the Falcons for a different reason. I don't know how much because Baker Mayfield is like the classic wave. 1 year up, 1 year down, 1 year up, 1 year down. This was his prove it year. He had to ball out. It helped that he had Mike Evans. It helped that he had Cade Otton at tight end, who's underrated in my opinion. It helps that he has Godwin as well. But the thing is, how much of that was Dave Canales and how much of that was Baker Mayfield?
And that is the question.
The OC they brought in, he was 2021 Kentucky, 2022 went to the Rams. Keep in mind, I know McVay calls the plays. That was the Rams' bad year. That was Super Bowl defense year. Yeah. And then it was back to Kentucky, OC.
To be fair to the OC, the Rams' bad year was a lot of injuries as well.
Which is fair.
Which is
100% fair.
Which is, it's difficult to assess. But overall, it's Baker Mayfield. Like you said, it's just the 1 year good, the 1 year bad. And we saw a lot of good in Baker Mayfield. I think if Baker Mayfield's healthy, I think he's going to put up a good year. I remember the year when he actually balled out for Cleveland. I think his third year with Kevin Stefanski, I think first won coach of the year. I think that's when Kevin Stefanski was a rookie head coach.
Yeah.
And then the year after, he was balling out, but then he got injured. And obviously that was one of the reasons why he got eventually let go. And obviously Deshaun Watson trade happened.
Yeah.
And he wanted out. But overall, I think Baker Mayfield will be fine. The issue is that there is a better quarterback in this division now.
Yeah,
and that is our number one team.
So the Atlanta Falcons, their biggest need essentially last year was quarterback. They finished 7-10 with Desmond Ridder and Taylor Heinicke, switching, right? Keep in mind, Desmond Ridder was a third round pick, whatever it was. It was the same year as Malik Willis and those guys. Right?
We saw Ridder make one of the most stupidest plays ever.
Yeah,
many stupid plays.
They paid Kirk Cousins, right? And they're kind of doing the indie route, the recycling quarterback thing, but they also ended up drafting Michael Penix, which was a head scratcher. And our boy Nathan Work's there, fourth in depth chart. Heinicke should be gone, so he could be dropping in third. But Kirk Cousins obviously coming off that big Achilles injury. Kirk Cousins is that quarterback, at least for the regular season, he'll get you to the spots. As long as you give him solid weapons, he'll get you there. And the thing is, he has solid weapons. You already have Bijan, who had a pretty good rookie year. You have Drake London. And you have
Kyle Pitts.
Kyle Pitts is the one where they're hoping Kirk Cousins helps
him,
helps elevate like he did. Not just TJ Hawkinson, whoever else was there.
They also added Darnell Mooney, who I think will be a good second option at wide receiver.
Rondale Moore just got hurt. That was a trade they made.
Or Desmond Ridder.
And then even Tyler Algier is a solid running back too.
Oh yeah, no, they're set weapons wise. O-line wise, I like their O-line. Jake Matthews, obviously. And the main man, Chris Lidstrom, at right guard. So I think O-line, they will hold it down. The biggest concern for the Atlanta Falcons is
pass rush.
Yeah. Their D-line.
Secondary is solid.
When everyone thought Michael Penix got drafted, it was supposed to be Dallas Turner, probably. Maybe Alaya Tulatu.
Yeah.
But obviously Michael Penix happened. It was clear and obvious need, especially when Calais Campbell did not return as well. So I just don't know why did they not address that? That would be probably their main issue. Secondary-wise, they're good.
Yeah. Jesse Bates is the best, arguably the top two safety in the league.
He killed it last year.
Yeah. But here's the thing. There's another major change that happened with that team outside of adding offensive pieces and drafting Michael Penix. It's Raheem Morris and Zach Robinson. Zach Robinson will help them offensively, for sure, in my opinion. I think under yes, it could be overrated saying the Sean McVay tree off camera. We'll talk about it when we do the NFC East. We're arguing about Cliff Kingsbury off camera and whatever the case may be. But in this case, Cam Robinson's getting an opportunity. And he might be like Kevin O'Connell. Kevin O'Connell was from that same tree, and he had a good year with Minnesota. Here you bring in Kirk Cousins, and you give him a lot of young pieces that could ball out.
And you're also looking at
it helps.
You're also looking at a guy. You're also replacing a guy who felt like using Jonnu Smith as a number one option.
Yeah.
In the world, Arthur Smith.
That being said, Drake London, I still think he's a solid. He was the first receiver off the board. Obviously, right now it seems like a mistake, but I still believe he has that potential. And on top of that, yes, it's on Kirk's aging, coming off a torn Achilles. That's the big question mark there. Defensively, Raheem Morris is a stud, right? Yes, the Rams had Aaron Donald, don't get me wrong, but even outside of Aaron Donald, when he gets triple teamed, he finds ways to get either Donald loose and go, or he gets other guys involved. makes defensive plays, makes those calls.
That's the reason why Byron Young had a really good year last year.
Yeah.
Is because one, Aaron Donald got triple team, and two, Raheem Morris was the DT.
So with that being said, I understand he doesn't have that similar. Well, yeah, like to that point, the talent outside of Aaron Donald, who was there really defensively for them last year,
not
like outside of Aaron Donald, right? Like Jalen Ramsey was gone at that point.
Yeah, Aaron Donald was the main guy. Obviously.
So the question
like
is,
always should be.
I still think that if whoever's available, Yannick Ngakoue is sitting there waiting. I understand he's not a good run defender as a pass rusher, but there's some people that are available at free agency. Maybe they go for a trade target during the year. I don't know, but I think maybe give him a chance at first. This is a fair opportunity because Raheem Morris. Is he fair to ask that he's gonna do what D'Amico Ryans did last year? No, just because they both were defensive specialists. Raheem Morris did have a head coaching opportunity in the past where he did not do well, and he admitted to that. He was one of my finalists for the Colts position before him and Shane Steichen. We already know where we went. I think this is the reason why this coaching hire with the offense and adding Kirk Cousins is a reason why I'm putting stock in on this Atlanta team.
Yeah, so
that's the main reason why.
I think Atlanta has the least question mark at quarterback. That's always the first thing I want to look for, and that's one of the main reasons why I have him number one. And once again, like the AFC West, we have the exact same list. Once again, we're telling you guys it was not pre-planned. This was actually, our separate first time hearing our list.
Yes,
we're hearing. There's a reason why we're making smiling on camera.
I picked the Saints on the spot. I was 50-50 in between the Saints and the Bucs.
It was actually tough.
All three teams essentially.
But I think other than the Panthers, everyone has a shot at the division. I don't think there's I don't think these three teams. I think they're all in the same tier.
There's 100%.
I don't think there's a tier separating these teams.
No,
I think they're all in the same tier.
Each
so for that
and weakness, this team is pass rush specific.
Exactly. So for that reason, that's why we just weigh in the quarterback option, in my opinion. And right now, at the moment, yes, he's coming off an Achilles injury. Kirk Cousins finds a way to get the job done in terms of he gets the team where they want to be, which is a playoff spot, and the Falcons want to be in a playoff spot right now.
And they're playing their own division, which is somewhat easier.
Division is weak. To be fair, let's be honest.
Games are still tough.
Division games is tough, but let's be honest, the NFC South does not deserve a playoff spot. But overall, the division...
this team might cook. Who knows, right?
That's true, but NFC is weaker, right? Honestly, there's a shot that Tampa Bay could make a wildcard spot as well. Same with the Saints.
Yeah.
But, that's wrapped
Saints
up.
were right there last year.
Yeah, but that wraps up our NFC South predictions and preview. Check out our AFC West preview as well.
Check out the Randeep Junda podcast once again as well. All of them, those two videos will be on our faces. Comment your predictions down below of the NFC South. And make sure you guys subscribe and hit the post notification bell because we'll be dropping 6 more of these with other divisions coming up and our final Super Bowl playoff predictions and all that. So, we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Peace.